Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. Today we are back at Rover Evolution, but we are going to do something a little bit different. Alright, so we are back with Rover Evolution, but today it's more of a house building project because I am sick and tired of slowly getting what we need in terms of iron ingots and things like that. So I decided to build a bit of a little home so we can rest in, and also put in the refineries, large cargo container, assembler, so we can have this as a home, as a station, as a checkpoint, whatever you want to call it, a base, so we can start gathering materials a little bit better. And to do that, we're gonna have to make a drill system to gather stone, refine it, and assemble things into what we need. So basically, I gave up on the notion of keeping everything small grid. And this is the result of that, a house. And the other reason why I did that is because the large refinery, or large grid refinery, sticking on to this Rover chassis or body just didn't really work out as well as I thought it would. So I decided to just remove it, make the barn or house, and start building the Rover out a little bit more or better in this case. I do realize, yes, maybe I shouldn't even stick with small grid. Maybe I should just really go large grid as the next evolution of it, because a little crash is gonna tear down more than half of this Rover, to be honest. So not sure how we're gonna work with that if that does happen. We could keep it as this for now and build it out and have a nice little small grid Rover to play around with, and then eventually we'll just turn it into a large grid. For the most part, we took out the refinery, we took out the assembler, the cargo, and we're gonna go all small grid here and pretty much work our way around that. But of course, when we're traveling, we're not gonna have the barn, we're not gonna have the home, so I decided to add a bit of a mod, which is the ultimate small grid conversion. So here is where we can add our refineries, assemblers, and things like that. So here's like a large version of it, which is small in a way. Right here, here's the small grid version of it, and I'm not even sure how well it kind of like refines things, but it's really small. So we'll see how that kind of works out. I did not check out what it does. That's a bit of a future project to see what it really does or what it can do in terms of having a small refinery like this, or we can have a large one which is almost the same size as the large grid one. No, actually no, it's like half the size, to be honest. So we could use this one instead. So yeah, I think that would work a little bit better for design purposes on the Rover, for small grid Rover. So we're likely going to use the mod and add all those small pieces there. And that way we have a bit of a mobile base, all small grid. But again, a little bit of a crash will destroy this Rover for sure. So we got to find a way to kind of work around that. But this thing drives pretty well, as we've seen before. We just got to add everything else to it if we can. So yes, I gave up on keeping everything small grid, connecting large grid items as well. So we'll just remove that from the series, basically. All right. So here's our cameraman. I'm just gonna move it around there, and we patched up the floor a bit here as well as a final thing in the time lapse. And I try to make it look like snow in some ways, but it's a nice little smooth piece of equipment here, which is just panels on top of some large blocks that are not welded. So that's probably how I'm gonna kind of flatten out some craters and stuff like that. But yeah, take a look at the time lapse of the house build, and we're gonna walk you through what this is all about. Alright, so welcome to the home base. Here, I'll show you around, which you've probably seen a bit of it in the time lapse. But if you didn't see all the little details, here's the inside. So we did add, use the hatch door for the door system, which we could do a sensor, we could do whatever to make it close and everything like that. We did add a bit of a kitchen, so we have a kitchen here, a little bit of a bar area or counter space as I wanted to put there. We also have a bed right here, single bed. We get a second bed if we want to, but I think we're gonna do a solo bed for the time being. And we have a little bit of exposed battery out in the open in this kind of studio apartment in a way, and the bathroom here. So the bathroom has an actual door, and the first thing you see is a shower right here, and of course your toilet. It is extremely dark in here, so you have to have your flashlight on just to kind of see what's in here. So not much we can do about that. So if we were actually go inside here, close the door, it's actually not too bad. Sometimes it looks really dark, but it's not too bad. I put the door only because if you were outside from the window, you could kind of see the shower portion of it. So if you were kind of a bit of a creeper, you know, you're able to kind of peep right in here and see the shower. So that's why we added that door. Not really easy to see, but still, why not add the door there where possible. So other than that, I try to add a ladder system up here so we can climb up to this kind of like attic spot. Couldn't really find a good way to do it, so I left it as is, left it exposed. We have a bit of a sunroof there and some exposed windows here as well, just to give it more light and, you know, a little bit more detail in that sense. But yeah, not much we could do here to add a ladder unless we add a full block instead of a half block, but it's not going to look great and it's not a lot of space to really walk around anyway, so we'll just leave it. High ceilings, nice little barnish area. I don't know why I like building barns. It's just been building barn-like buildings the last few times. But it's nice and simple. Floor's made out of panels, which looks actually pretty cool with the really dark color. The dark, like, I guess call this dark gray. I don't know. Faded black. Whatever you want to call it. And it makes these like, with the panels, it makes it have these like really large tile-like looking floors, which is pretty cool. And of course, yes, we are in Triton, where it is seemingly extremely cold, but we have a single layer non-insulated wood panel on the barn system here. So it literally is just a light little panel. So I'm pretty sure whoever's in here is gonna freeze to death, but there's not much of temperature in this game anyways, so we're not gonna worry too much about that. Alright, so we do have a hatch door in the back here as well, and that leads to the operation of our large grid refinery, our assembler. I did connect it so we can just walk around and get to it, just to have a nice little access point here if we need to, and just to make it look pretty cool. Did they upgrade the design on this? I don't recall that being here, or I haven't seen it in a while. I think they did. Anyways, other than that, could add more catwalks to connect it, everything, so nothing falls down or so we have better connections for everything. But we do connect the assembler to a conveyor junction to a large grid cargo right here, so we can store as much as we can. We also did add an O2 system up here. I don't know why I put it up like that, but it just kind of looked cool at the time. And of course, we have our kind of solo powered turbine. And I might look for a mod to do power lines, because I remember seeing that and I'm kind of interested in using it instead of using a pillar like this. So we can use power lines, we could and then yeah, just use power lines and maybe build things out from there. So other than that, we have our little miner here. I think we're just gonna tear this whole thing down because we don't need it anymore, or we just leave it here, whatever we want to do. But ultimately, we are gonna make a drill system so we could mine underneath for some stone and get as much materials as possible, and a lot quicker than actually using this drill system to get stone to convert it to iron and things like that. Or we could just travel around some more and get some iron. I know there's iron over there because that's where I got iron using that mining system here, but the drill system couldn't reach because it's not long enough. So I don't know. We definitely need to we could make some drill stations and some kind of transport along the way to get all the iron and everything back. So that one is not even that far. It's a half a kilometer away. So yeah, we could definitely build a large grid drilling station, get all the iron and everything like that, even refine it from there if we need to, and then bring it back to the base or whatever we want to do with it. That works as well. I think the series is going to be kind of a mix and match of small grid Rover Evolution with a bit of base building at the same time. So that's going to evolve into a series such as that. But that's pretty much it for today. Not a lot going on. I spent most of the time building the barn here, the house here, and replacing some things off of the Rover. So we definitely need to get more materials, because slowly evolving this and not having enough materials, not the way to go. So it's a really slow progression in this case when building this thing out. So that's one of the big factors in why I decided to make a base, so we can gather materials quicker and start evolving the Rover faster at the same time. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this series. Hope you enjoyed the barn build or the base build. And if you did enjoy it, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up, like the video, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.